you, Honourable Presiding Member. To begin with, I think we all owe a great deal to the people in the health sector and the medical profession for the tremendous work that they have been doing throughout the country in probably the most trying times we have faced in a century. So in that sense, those appreciations must be made on record. I certainly want to thank in particular the medical staff and doctors and everyone concerned in the health sector involved in the Northeast. It is a region that has been plagued by war. It is thereafter a region that is lagging behind quite considerably in all the development indices. And despite those shortages and trying conditions, I think they have been performing tremendously well. For that reason, I bow my head, Honourable Presiding Member. I wish to bring to the attention of the Honourable Minister few concerns that we have with regards to the Northern Province. And I would like to start off by specifically talking about the Jaffna Teaching Hospital. That is probably the most important hospital in the entire Northern Province. And not only in the Northern Province, even outside, because of its status. So when such a hospital is there, I think it becomes imperative that infrastructure must be fully addressed, any shortcomings fully addressed. But unfortunately, the Jaffna Teaching Hospital is plagued by a considerable amount of shortcomings, which I wish to very quickly list out. At the moment, Honourable Presiding Member, the Jaffna Teaching Hospital doesn't have a maternity ward. In 2013, the existing maternity ward was pulled down because it was in a dilapidated condition. And despite that, still there has been no steps taken to build a maternity ward. There is only a temporary arrangement that is being made. And under these circumstances, almost 50% of expectant mothers are treated as flow patients. I think that is a disastrous situation for a teaching hospital to be in. And I think the Honourable Minister must look into that as a matter of urgency. The other matter that I wish to raise is the question of nurses. You know, I mean, whilst obviously consultants, medical officers are of paramount importance, nurses are, in my view, as important. For the Jaffna Teaching Hospital, there is an approved card of, if I'm not mistaken, 657. However, at the moment, there is only officially 573 that has been filled. Out of this, 50 are at any given time on leave, and 78 are pending transfers. So again, this is without even considering a cadre, what shall we say, reassessment. This is going by a very, very old cadre arrangements, and the hospital requires at least 134 appointments be made immediately. Sorry? Nursing. Be made immediately. Honourable Minister, if you look at the population versus nurses ratio, ideally, Jaffna at the moment it has. I mentioned 657. But if you look at the population nurses ratio, it should be somewhere in the range of well over 1,000, 1,200 if I'm not mistaken. But at least if we can revise the card immediately, as early as possible to at least to increase it by another 300 at least. I think it'll make a significant difference, and I think the Honourable Minister must pay his attention to that as early as possible. When it comes to doctors, at the moment there are 300 medical officers and 72 consultants as approved cadre. In reality, there is only 175. So the Jaffna Teaching Hospital is paying salary for only 175 medical officers and 63 consultants. So, Honourable Minister, that too, I think, has to be seriously looked into. You see, the remarkable thing about the Jaffna Teaching Hospital, and I would say most hospital staff in the Northeast, is that they don't demand things. You know, we actually went and tried to find out this information. We had to work very hard to find it out, because they realize the difficulties under the present circumstances, so they don't demand. Yes.
Honourable Minister.
Yeah. We have posted there 269 out of the new batch medical officers. 269, and that's the highest when you take it to all the other provinces.
Yeah.
If you take, for instance, Western Province, only 43, but Northern Province we have posted 269, and Eastern Province.
That is the approved cadre, Honourable Minister. But what I'm saying is that presently the Jaffna Teaching Hospital is only paying salary to 170 odd. You are changing it. Most welcome. I think that should be done. I will congratulate you if that goes through. With regards to the Northern Province, during the times of war, there were volunteer health service assistants, almost 900, Honourable Minister. All those volunteer health service assistants were, for some reason, they were not confirmed. They were done away with. They were put aside. And at the moment, when you consider the needs of the Northern Province for health service assistance, there is a 73% shortage. Please check these numbers. There is a 73% shortage of health assistants. That is, minor staff. So this 900 odd people who are set aside, I think can very easily, because there are no qualifications such that is required, they can very easily be absorbed. They have been protesting, Honourable Minister. In fact, when the Honourable Mahindaranda Alutgama visited Jaffna, we brought this up to the notice. He had, in fact, raised it up in the cabinet. And he informed me personally that there was a cabinet paper approval that was granted for these health workers to be
Honourable Member, you had 2 more minutes.
But that has not gone through. So they are still protesting. And when there is almost a 73% shortage, I think there is absolutely no need for there to be any delay in confirming those, in confirming them. Very quickly, Honourable Presiding Member, there is 117 hospitals that come under the Northern Province. Out of the 117, 15 hospitals have no doctors at all. I will give you the detailed list. Out of the 117, only 41 cadre approval for nursing officers. Only 41 of the hospitals out of 117 have approval for nursing officers. 76 hospitals have no cadre approval for nursing staff at all. At all. I have mentioned 73% of shortages in minor staff. Then there is another issue. Most of the hospitals that come under the province are now, I am aware of 5 hospitals, the Tellipale Hospital, the Kilnuchi Hospital, Mullaitivu, Mannar and Vavuniya. These hospitals are going to be taken over by the centre. Now, the doctors and people also would like that, because obviously hospitals that come under the centre have a far greater fund allocation than the hospitals that are given to the province. I think that is an injustice, Honourable Minister. You know, these hospitals that come under the province, there should not be this discrepancy, because for both medical, health sector and for education, if you have this discrepancy and hierarchy, then naturally everybody will want to move in the direction of more funds and more equipment. But despite the fact of severe lack of funding, I think the hospitals in the northern province have done tremendously well. And in fact, because those 5 hospitals that I mentioned have been doing tremendously well, the centre also is thinking in terms of taking it over and maybe strengthening it. But just looking by the fact of the Jaffna Teaching Hospital and the severe shortages, I think what will be more prudent will be for the allocations of funds to be done to the appropriate hospitals through your ministry, even though it comes under the province, to make those necessary approvals and let the province handle the matter first before you reconsider and re-evaluate. I thank you, sir.
Thank you. Honorable Aravinda Kumar, you have 5 minutes.
Just 1 minute.
Honorable Minister,
10 seconds just to respond to. I would like to have your details of all those details that you listed out. A. B is that taking over hospitals is not our concern. It is just that if the governor and the province in agreement with that, only we just look into the request. We don't just because you improve a hospital, we don't go and say, okay, now you have improved the property, so you try to take that. That's not the principle.
Yes, Mr. Minister.
Thank you, Honourable President. Now, Honourable Minister, now Tellipalli Hospital, for example, I know that the doctors in Tellipalli Cancer Hospital and the people surrounding try and want it brought under the centre because they feel that there will be far more resources available. So at the moment it comes under the province, and it is because of lack of resources that the people, both whether it be the governor comes under pressure. Because if the province cannot handle the amount of workload and the demands because of the lack of funding, then obviously the next step is for the government to in fact make those recommendations to the ministry. So that, what I'm trying to say is that should not happen.